Mark Kramer, welcome to Stiftung Mercator. How would you describe a successful foundation?
Well, I think, first of all, a successful foundation is clear about what it's trying to accomplish. It has a very specific goal in mind. I think, secondly, it has a plan or a strategy to get to that goal. The plan is based on some solid research and data. It's not just hypothetical. And the last piece I would say is that the foundation is actually measuring its progress toward its goal and learning and adapting and changing its strategy and plan based on what it's learning over time.
Thank you. In your book, Do More Than Give, which you have recently published, you describe the 6 practices of donors who change the world. To what extent is the concept of catalytic philanthropy important for donors who want to create social change?
Well, I think it's tremendously important. You know, I often think of one of the stories in the book, which is about a project that the Gates Foundation did to work with homeless families in the Pacific Northwest in the United States. And they did a terrific job of picking grantees, of designing the program, and they spent about $40 million and created housing for about 1,500 families that would have been homeless. They evaluated it, they found it was a terrific success, and yet over the same 5-year period, the number of homeless families in the region actually increased. And I think part of the challenge of being a donor is we can do everything right, but it doesn't mean we've really solved a social problem. It turns out that giving away money is a different challenge than solving a social problem. And so the idea of catalytic philanthropy is what can donors do beyond just giving away money to actually achieve social change at the scale and intensity of their ambitions. And it turns out that donors really have some unique assets that they can bring to bear, some roles that they can play that nonprofits, government, business, other players in the mix cannot play as well. So we think that catalytic philanthropy is really a very powerful approach to donors who want to achieve social impact by creating real change.
Thank you. Now the last question. How can a foundation like Stiftung Mercator, which is striving for measurable impact, ensure that it is connecting to learning, that it is connecting with learning and evaluation with a strategy?
Sure. Well, many foundations are searching and striving for measurable impact. And many foundations do hire evaluators or do evaluations of projects they've funded at some point down the road. To be really a learning organization, you need to be getting data and information back in real time. You need to be getting evaluation information every month, not just 5 years down the road at the end to see if the project worked. And so if Mercator Foundation really wants to be a learning organization, the first thing they need to do is create an evaluation system that is consistent, that is providing timely feedback around all of their projects and efforts on an ongoing basis. The second thing they need to do is create the internal systems and processes so that the program staff have the opportunity and the time to really learn from the data that's coming back, to digest the information, to try and puzzle together what does it mean and what can they do differently. And that's something, again, that's very rare. Most foundation staff are so focused on getting the next round of grants out the door that they don't really ever have time to sit down and concentrate on what they're learning about what is or isn't working and how to adjust their strategies and programs. So a comprehensive evaluation system that both brings back real-time data and provides the opportunity and time for staff to analyze that data and make changes over time, those are the things that I think are essential.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.